Hello and welcome to Solid, where we think like football nerds, but we talk and act like concussion uncles. It's smart football dumb. That's what we're doing here. My name is Jake, and my toxic trait is I judge people based on where they put their sprinkler. If you're watering the sidewalk, I think less of you. I think less of your ability to own property. It's a toxic trait. I'm not proud of it, but it's the reality of who I am. Today is Tuesday, July 7th, and we're here to talk offseason football, specifically the AFC West. Last week, I did the positives of all the teams in the AFC West, all the moves that they made during the offseason. I talked positively about the good things that can happen from that. And today we're doing the negatives. We're going to get nasty with it. I'm doing the positives and the negatives. Because I think I said this last time, if you're a Chargers fan and you don't really give a shit about what the Chiefs and the Broncos did well in the offseason. However, you do care about what they did wrong. You do care about the dumb stuff. You do care about the things that could go wrong for them, right? You don't like them. On the other hand, if I guess vice versa, really. I don't need to restate that. Anyway, we're talking the AFC West, and we're going to do this same way that we're going to do it for everybody. We're going to go down the standings of the division from last season. So it's going to be Broncos, and we're doing Chargers, Chiefs, and Raiders. Unfortunately, we have to start with the Broncos because they just haven't had like an exciting offseason. I don't know if it's really ever going to be I guess it can be exciting. Theirs has just been kind of boring. They're running a lot of it back. So there's not I don't know. There's not a lot to go off of. The first thing is the first big negative thing for them was actually one of my I think might have been my first big positive thing for them. Uh J.K. Dobbins. They gave J.K. Dobbins a 2-year deal, $16 million. It's $8 million guaranteed. So it's a 1-year deal. It's you really only count in a deal the amount of years the guaranteed money gives you. 16 million divided by 2 is 8 million. He's getting 8 million guaranteed. It's a 1-year deal. Um, but man, this has the possibility to this might I should say this might go well for them. It probably won't. I would say there's a 20% chance of it going well and an 80% chance of it going poorly. uh and I say it like that because that way, if it does go well, I'm not wrong. I can if it does go well, I can be like, wow, that what are the chances that happened? 20%. Yeah, I said that. So I'm playing both sides here once again. J.K. Dobbins, okay, he drafted by the Ravens in 2020. His only really healthy season. 2021 had a ACL in the preseason. 2022 he had a knee surgery, missed 6 games. Achilles in 2023. MCL missed 4 games in 2024, and in 2025 he had a Liz Frank that caused him to miss the last 7 games and the postseason. The dude cannot stay healthy. I guess I understand why they went with him because the running back market this year is just absolute trash. There's a reason that the Seahawks had to draft the who's the kid, Jadarian Price, a backup running back from Notre Dame in the first round. It's because that was their best chance to get a good running back. I mean, you're looking at, I guess Kenneth Walker's good, but he's not world changing good. It's just a bad running back market that's available this offseason. So they went with J.K. Dobbins. I mean, there's guys like Najee Smith that are still out there, or Najee Harris that are still out there. Maybe somebody will end up picking him up. It's just so I get why they did. I get why they did the J.K. Dobbins thing. Oh, but damn it, dude, that is that is a disaster waiting to maybe not even a disaster. If you're anticipating a disaster, like if you're on the coast and you get hit by a hurricane, it's like, yeah, well, we knew it. We knew it when we bought a house on the coast. We knew, hey, we knew that we knew that when we bought this house in Tampa, we were going to get absolutely fucking wrecked by a hurricane. What are you going to do? Yeah, technically a disaster, but you're anticipating it. But behind him, it's R.J. Harvey, Jonah Coleman, and Jaleel McLaughlin. None of those guys are guys that you really want to be an RB1. J.K. Dobbins can be an RB1, but man, you're banking on the legs of a broken bird. That is, I guess I guess birds famously don't use their legs all that often. You're banking on the wings of a broken bird, man. And it was a raven, so that actually works. Pulled that one out of my ass. That one worked pretty good. But yeah, J.K. Dobbins, not a. I get that they did it. Don't like the contract that they gave him. $8 million a year. He's getting $8 million. He's getting $8 million. I guess he's getting $8 million to have a broken leg or a jacked up knee or popped Achilles or a torn up foot. I don't know. Looking at the laundry list of injuries that this cat has, not great. You guys get it. I don't really need to beat a dead horse. Broncos, look at me. Horse. You're getting this for free. That's unbelievable. Okay. Next thing that I think could go wrong with them is their linebacker room. And I know that this is dumb. Listen, I'm really with the Broncos. It's been a really just a nothing burger of an offseason, except for getting Jalen Waddle, and that was a great decision. Like it's just a bunch of the same. It's just a bunch of the same. But their linebacker room, okay, they kept Justin Strnad. That's what his name is, right? I'm not making that up. It's Justin, right? Justin Strnad and Alex Singleton. They kept both of them, and they got rid of Dre Greenlaw, which I touched on that last week. I don't like him, and they're good. And again, this is just me being dumb, me being dumb brain. The Alex Singleton thing, I can't, and I know he's past this because he's been a lot better in Vance Joseph's defense in Denver. I can't get the Alex Singleton from Philadelphia out of my head, man. He was not good. He was not good. And how old is he now? Let's see how old Alex Singleton is. He's 32 years old. I don't know. In my dumb brain, I'm just like something's gonna end up going. So, when is Alex Singleton gonna go back to being shit? And he just hasn't yet. It's I don't know. Is frustrating the right word? That 2020 2021 Alex Singleton was real bad, and then he just goes to Denver and he's kicking dicks off, except for the testicular cancer scare. That I'm not gonna blame him for that. Guy's got balls, maybe just one ball. Now I don't pretend to know about Alex Singleton's downstairs mix-up a whole lot. It's just one of them things, man. It's just scary. And then also they got Jonathan Cooper, who I should say Jonathan Cooper's got some trouble. Jonathan Cooper, this is the legal issues section of his Wikipedia. I'm just reading it because I don't want to say it wrong. Okay, so this is from Jonathan Cooper's one of their other linebackers, one of his Wikipedia. On June 5th, 2026, Cooper and his girlfriend were arrested and held on suspicion of 2 counts of domestic violence and 1 count of criminal mischief. The arrest occurred after an argument and physical confrontation that began over cheating allegations and included both of their cell phones being damaged. That's okay. The Dom Vi's not great. Criminal mischief. You can't. Criminal mischief is that seems like, I don't know what that is, but that seems like it's one of them. It sounds not that bad. Mischief doesn't sound that bad, but I'm sure that criminal mischief actually is, pretty, terrible. Anyway, Cooper allegedly bit into his girlfriend's phone, causing disabling damage to it. Football guy. That's a football guy. Biting a phone? Goddamn psychopath. Mr. Cooper, you're a goddamn psychopath. That is biting a phone with enough damage to disable it. That's like Jaws from James Bond. The same day, Cooper appeared in court and was released on personal recognizance. I don't know what that means. On June 8th, Cooper appeared in court where he pleaded not guilty to all charges. A motions hearing was June 6, 2026. Cooper's jury trial was also scheduled to start on July 22nd, 2026. I don't know what those mean. On June 11th, Cooper was arrested again and charged with 2 additional counts of domestic violence, one for harassment via repeated phone calls and one for violating a restraining order. So not good. Not good. Uh, Not good. Disavow crime. Disavow that crime. Don't Dom Vi and criminal mischief and biting phones. Don't do that. I do one for harassment via repeated phone calls. I guess if you, because the first thing happened on June 5th where he bit the phone until it was broken, and then 6 days later is enough time to get a new phone. You can't go 6 days without a phone. So yeah, my first thought when I saw one for harassment via repeated phone calls, like, why is he calling a broken phone? You bit it, stupid. But I guess 6 days is enough time to get a new phone. Anyway, not good for him. It's not as bad as we've seen from people. It is the NFL, and the Leonard Little killed a person in a drunk driving accident and went to jail on the weekends. Things don't necessarily matter. Maybe this will end up being a thing but I doubt it. Regardless, it's not good. It's just not a good thing. So there, linebacker room is Jonathan Cooper, Alex Singleton, Justin Strnad. It's Jonah Ellis will be there behind Jonathan Cooper for the ESPN depth chart thing. It's just, I don't know. It just seems a little bit stinky to me. And it's the Broncos. They're going to end up having a good defense, man. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. That's what I'm gonna. It's frustrating that they're going to be good, even though on paper it doesn't seem like it should be that good. And even on paper, I'm dumb because Alex Singleton is good now. For the third thing that I think could go wrong for the Broncos, and I'm going to have this for pretty much every team that has an offensive coordinator that's never called plays before. They got rid of Joe Lombardi and they promoted Davis Webb to their offensive coordinator, and he's going to be calling plays, not Sean Payton. This is going to be the first time in Sean Payton's career that he's not the one calling plays. You understand what can go wrong with this, right? And it's not like Davis Webb has had a lot of experience either. He was the Broncos quarterbacks coach from 2023 to 2024. Their offensive pass game coordinator and quarterback coach last year, and now he's their offensive coordinator. I'm not entirely sure that the 2023 Broncos and Bo Nix's rookie season are though that together just as the quarterbacks coach, I'm not entirely sure that's a resume that warrants an offensive coordinator promotion. And then as the pass game coordinator and the quarterback coach last year, I think Bo Nix had regressed a little bit from that rookie season. I think he did. And then as the pass game coordinator, nobody's looking at the Broncos pass game last year and necessarily saying that it was like super dynamic. There's reasons to look at Davis Webb and be like, man, I don't know about this cat. There's reasonable doubt to go with the law thing for Jonathan Cooper that this guy might not, that he could shit the bed. Now again, because this is Sean Payton's first time not calling plays, he could see things going to shit and then just pull the plug and be like, I'm actually calling plays now, and everybody be like, oh hell yeah, Broncos are back. So I don't know. It's what does their schedule look like right off the bat? Chiefs, Jags, Rams, Niners, Chargers, Seahawks, Cardinals is week 7. It's not exactly it's not an easy schedule. That's some good defenses that they're going to be running into there. And if things start slowly with them, I could see Davis Webb getting that cord pulled. Man, Healthy Niners defense, Chargers defense, the Rams defense will tear your dick off. Seattle's defense. That's four. Rams, healthy Niners, Chargers, Seahawks defenses in the first 6 weeks of the season that's a that's a hell of a welcome party for Davis Webb. But he was he was a quarterback in the NFL, so maybe he's got a way to talk to Bo Nix, and I mean clearly Bo Nix likes the guy. If they're going, you have to imagine that his input is taken into who is going to be in his ear hole. I don't know. Seems like that could go wrong though. Seems like that could go wrong, and those wins early in the season those are still wins that you need to get. Those count. Those wins count, and those losses count potentially. So that's the Broncos. Going on to the Chargers. By the way, I do this all in one take. I'm not trying to brag or anything like that. I just don't. I don't edit because I don't want to, and also because I don't know how to. So I'm probably gonna say something dumb. I will definitely say something dumb. And if I forget something or if I leave something out, it's not because I don't think it's important. It's just because I probably forgot. Unless I go out of the way to say that it's not important, just assume I forgot. Dumb guy. Too many concussions. Chargers. Okay, Chargers. The big bugaboo with them last year was their offensive line. They did add to their offensive line to try to bolster it, which is not hard to do, to upgrade it, I should say, which is not hard to do because that offensive line was dog shit last year. Two of the guys that they added were Cole Strange and Jake Slaughter. Let's talk about Jake Slaughter first. They picked him near the end of the second round of the draft. In college, he's going to be their guard. He played exactly, let's look at that. Exactly, that's wild. They wouldn't put a guy at guard that's never played guard before, would they? Sure are. They sure are. Yeah, no, he's never taken any snaps at guard. And he's a rookie. I think that's a bad idea. That seems like you're setting yourself up for failure there. He could not be worse than what they had last year. He's a warm body. So that's a plus, but that's going from center to guard in the NFL your rookie season, brother. You're in for some shit right there. The other one, Cole Strange is the other guy that they added. Cole Strange, I think the best way to say it is that he sucks like a lot. Cole Strange, before the season started last year, he was a Patriot, and then they cut him as part of their final cuts. And then he went to the Browns practice squad, and then he went to the Dolphins and was a starter for the Dolphins, which what's the opposite of a endorsement? That's not great. And then he played with the Dolphins. Was it the entirety of last season? Yeah, he had 800. He had over 800 snaps with the Dolphins last season. Then goes to free agency, and the Chargers pick him up. Yes, it's an upgrade, brother. That ain't good, brother. You had such terrible guard play last year, and then you're going to say, hey, what if we also set ourselves up for terrible, not as terrible, but still bad guard play this year? You got to protect Justin Herbert, and that is not good, man. That the quickest way to the quarterback is straight up the middle, and if you get a good pass rushing, or maybe not even a good pass rushing defensive tackle, these two guys very well could just let anybody through. Cole Strange is not a stranger to, God damn, I'm good. Not a stranger to that. Yeah, man. It's kind of baffling. Like Isaac Seumalo was a free agent. Just they could have spent any more money. They could have spent any more money on this position, and things would look so much better for him. But they just went bargain bin, and also they spent a lot of money on Tyler Biadasz, so that is good. I'm not going to say that Tyler Biadasz is a very good center, but man, oh man, having two weak spots, potentially weak spots. Maybe Jake Slaughter ends up being good and knocks everything out. But I don't think so. Having two guards that are liabilities like that, oof. Not optimal. Let's say that, not optimal. Okay. Other thing that they did, the second thing that I think is very bad, Akeem Messidor. This was also a positive for them, because the whole thing with Akeem Messidor, defensive end, 25 years old, a 25-year-old rookie. Maybe this isn't necessarily a thing that is going to affect them this year, but a 25-year-old rookie, that at that position specifically at defensive end, that has not happened since I believe 1972. I wrote something. Let me see if I can find it. Akeem Messidor. How do you spell Akeem? What if I just search Messidor? Let's see. Control F, Messidor. I probably could have looked this up first. Yes, 1972. The Lions drafted Herb Orvis. Herb Orvis. That's the last time, and he was just an end, is what they called it. In 1972. The last time a 25-year-old defensive end got drafted. The problem with that is that by the time his fifth-year option comes around, he's going to be 30 years old. Now, for the Chargers specifically, it's funny because Tuli Pelotu is going to be turning 23 years old, and he is eligible for his first big contract. He's younger. He's younger than Akeem Messidor. And he's going to be getting his first contract. Akeem Messidor would be getting his first big boy contract at 7 years later than Tuli Pelotu. It's bad. That's a dumb thing. It's a dumb thing, and it's a very it was a dumb choice to pick it. Maybe he'll end up being good for now, but down the line, this is all kinds of stupid written all over it. So that's another thing. Again, maybe that won't necessarily affect them this year, but it did stand out to me during the draft as like, well, this is fucking crazy. There's a crazy thing that they're doing here. So I think that that's dumb. Third thing for the Chargers, I would have liked to see them be more, like, hear more about the Chargers being in some of these wide receiver trades and signings. Now, there are still guys out there. Stephon Diggs is still out there. Hell, I think Keenan Allen is still out there. I don't think he's officially retired yet. Maybe I'm wrong. I try not to pay too much attention to that kind of stuff. But right now, their wide receiver room is Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnson, and Trey Harris. Ladd McConkey, really, really good. Trey Harris, middling. I would say, like, he's not gonna blow your dick off. I mean, he was their second round pick last year. He wasn't a great season for him. What did he have? 324 yards on 30 catches, 1 touchdown. And then also Quentin Johnson, who I refuse, regardless of anybody's trying to be like, oh, Quentin Johnson's going to do it. He did it for like 4 games last year. He was good for like 4 games last year. Then he went right back to the old brick hands, dick hands himself. Like, he just turned right back into, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot Quentin Johnson doesn't know how to catch the ball. Justin Herbert must have been throwing really good balls in order for him to catch it. Like, it's, obviously there are some catches that were pretty good, and you could see why they picked him in the first round. But I'm not buying in on Quentin Johnson, and I don't think anybody should. He is who we thought he was. That's gonna be my quote. I don't know, man. it just I would have liked to have if I was a Chargers fan, I would have liked to have seen the 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 Chargers go after a wide receiver with some stank to his game. You know, I would have liked to see that. It doesn't. I can't imagine because Tyreek Hill's still out there. I can't imagine Tyreek Hill's going to go back with Mike McDaniel. I can't. That would be crazy. But Stephon Diggs. There's a few names that are out there still. I think DeAndre Hopkins is still out there, but it would have those guys. I guess Stephon Diggs did have a good season, and but everybody's kind of past their. It would have been nice to hear him be a part of the AJ Browns. You know, it would have been nice to hear him be part of. Well, I guess Jalen Waddle would also be him going back with Mike McDaniel. I don't know. It just they didn't do a whole lot. Yeah, Justin Herbert's good, but you got to have a good team. The AFC is just all about good quarterbacks and then just kind of shit around them. You know, and it would have been the Chargers had an opportunity to kind of break that mold and be a good team, but Vlad McConkey's good. He's real good. You can't build a plane out of Lad McConkey though. I don't know. Just it seems like they could have done more. Matt, what are you gonna do? They're not the only team that is doing that. Okay. No, we're gonna talk about them right now. The Chiefs. All right. Big three things for the Chiefs. Does Andy Reid have it anymore? You know? Because the whole thing is that Andy Reid is one of the best play designers, best play callers, which is great. That's a great thing to have. But he's and I said that it was a good thing that they're going back to Eric Bieniemy and got rid of Matt Nagy. I would have if I'm Chiefs, I would have liked a little bit more. You know, like yeah, Eric Bieniemy was the one of the architects. More Andy Reid was one of the architects of those really good offenses that they had from 2018 to 2022, like 2021, 2022, whenever that was. Like whenever they had that was Eric Bieniemy being part of that offense, and he's going to help rebuild that running game. But it would have been nice to. It would have. And maybe this is for football as a whole. It would have been nice for Andy Reid to be like, "Here's a guy that I like," rather than being like, "Hey, let me get Eric Bieniemy back on the phone and see if he wants to come back." You know, it would have been nice for them to be, for them to have a little bit more life, especially in a team that, I mean, they had only one down season in the past freaking decade, like, but it would have been nice. The vibes are low. I feel like the vibes around Kansas City are relatively low. You know, Mahomes coming back from this injury. Justin Fields is his backup. Rashee Rice has got all of this stuff that he's doing with Travis Kelce. Seems like a shell of himself, and he's doing a one last ride kind of a thing. It would have been nice for there to be like a little bit of new breath brought into them rather than their old OC coming back. It feels like a good old days kind of a thing. It seems like a good old days kind of a thing when the old days were not that long ago. I feel like that makes sense, and I feel like that's a right sentiment. And maybe if you're a Chiefs fan and you feel the wrong way, I'm just telling you what it looks like from the outside looking in. You know, maybe you're a Chiefs fan and you're like, no. Rashee Rice absolutely rocks. He's gonna rip dicks off this year. It's like, yeah, but man, you're looking at it, you're like, this seems like a lot of things have to go right for this season to go right for the Chiefs. This seems like this. I'm not saying a downfall because the floor is so high when you're talking about Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Spags being on the defense. Like the floor is really high, but you've been to the highest of highs. You've seen that ceiling. You've kissed the ceiling. You looked at Michelangelo right in his eyes while he's painting the Sistine Chapel, and you kissed him right on the mouth. You've been to the ceiling. You saw him painting the two fingers touching each other. Was that painting the creation? You saw that. You punched right through that. You said, "Get the hell out of here, double bird, smoke a cigarette, throw it on the ground." You broke through that ceiling. You've been to the highest of highs. That wasn't that long ago. And it seems like you're kind of just be like, what if we climbed that ladder again? Hey, it just feels it feels wonky. It just it doesn't feel good. It doesn't looking at the Chiefs, it's like there's some there's a tinge of rot. There's a tinge of rot in there. That's an ear infection that could turn into some gangrene, is what it looks like. How about that for a whole bunch of metaphors? That Sistine Chapel one was pretty fucking good, man. I gotta stop tooting my horn. I sound like an asshole. Okay. Second big thing that I think might be a problem for them, their defensive backfield. I don't like it. I gave them props for getting Mansour Delane. I don't think that they should have traded up. I think that was a ding dong move. They really essentially what they did is they traded ahead of the Saints when they did that in the draft. They traded ahead of the Saints. The thought there was that the Saints would try to draft a guy from LSU because he'd still be playing at home. They ended up drafting a wide receiver after Mansour Delane was gone, so we'll probably never know if that was actually going to happen. But right now, he's the one that you have the most confident in of their two outside corners and their two safeties. He's the one that you have, I would think that you would have the most confidence in, because he's a great player, and we haven't even seen him play yet, which is kind of a problem, because Chamari Connor, he's been there, he's a good player. He's not a great player. And then they picked up Alohi Gilman in the in free agency. Alohi Gilman stinks, dude. Alohi Gilman stinks. The splash play that he had last year, if you're thinking about Alohi Gilman, is he was on the Ravens last year. And I think that was Kyle Van Noy got an interception, realized that he wasn't going to be fast enough to get any type of return, so he slowed down and he pitched the ball, hand the ball off. But it was Alohi Gilman that he gave the ball to, and Alohi Gilman got, 30, somewhere between 20, 40 yards, more of a return on. It's just, maybe it was even a pick six. Nah, whatever. He gave the ball to Alohi Gilman. That's Alohi Gilman's calling card from last season. He's just, I don't think he's very good. And then also they're rehashing it with L'Jarius Sneed. L'Jarius Sneed went he went to the Titans a couple years ago, stunk there. Now he's going back to Kansas City as a free agent. Did they release him? Whatever. He's back in Kansas City. Whatever the path was, he's back in Kansas City. Again the trying to bring it all back. I just what if yes, okay, maybe Spags will work his magic, and maybe Sneed was never actually bad in Tennessee. He was just in a bad situation. We've seen that happen with players. We've seen good players go somewhere, stink, go back to where they came from, continue to rock. We've seen that before, and maybe that'll be a thing with L'Jarius Sneed. Maybe he'll go back to being super awesome. It's a risk, though. It's a risk. To be fair, they didn't really have any other options. I mean, Noel Williams is a football player. I wouldn't have the most confidence with him continuing to line up on the outside. Yes, it's probably going to be an upgrade over what they had, but man, it's kind of a stinky defensive backfield, a potentially stinky defensive backfield. Like if you're looking at it on paper, it's like this. I'm sure Spags is going to work his magic in this defense, and they're going to be great, and I'm going to look like a total idiot. I'm sure that's going to happen, because that will happen. That's what happens. That's it. Hey, that's what happens. I'm sure I'm going to look dumb, and I'm sure that Alohi Gilman's going to rip off some kind of Pro Bowl season. I'm sure that's something dumb like that is going to happen. Doesn't seem like it. In the beginning of July, I'm looking at this. I'm like, this doesn't look good. You get rid of Jalen Watson, you get rid of Trent McDuffie, you backfill him with well, I guess a rookie. I should say you get rid of Brian Cook. Brian Cook was their safety. That Alohi Gilman, he's filling up that spot. Brian Cook is a great tackler. Alohi Gilman, not so much. It's like this is kind of the tackling aspect of it. It's like that's the physicality. When you think Chiefs defense, you think physical, and this is just not the most. It's not the most intimidating and physical defensive backfield that I've seen that the Chiefs have had. You know what I mean? I feel like that sums it up pretty well. The third big thing for the Chiefs, I don't think the tools for Patrick Mahomes are there necessarily. This is a guy coming off of his ACL. caveat obviously being this is Patrick Mahomes. The guy's a freak of nature. He's a superhero. He could come back and crush everybody's thoughts that he's gonna look like a guy coming back from a late season ACL tear. He very well could. His body is built different than everybody else's. I tore my ACL 2 weeks after I turned 30, and I am still dealing with it, and that happened goddamn 5 years ago. 4 years ago? How old am I? What year is it? That was at the end of 2020, so that would have been 2020. Yeah, because I couldn't have surgery because it turns out ACL repair is an elective surgery, and when I tore it in 2020, they couldn't do surgery on it because they weren't doing elective surgeries because of the pandemic. So I was just walking around without a goddamn knee for a month and a half, 2 months. Regardless, that you don't care about that. Maybe Patrick Mahomes comes back and blows everybody's goddamn mind. I don't think that'll happen. I think human beings are human beings. He bleeds like I bleed. Merovingian. Like he's just a man. And even if he is hampered by it, you're not. I would assume what the most predominant way that we would see him not be the Patrick Mahomes that we're used to seeing would be that magic that he does in the backfield, the slipping out of shit, the getting out of the pocket and finding a person downfield as the plays developed, and him and Travis Kelce being on having that brain wave where they do the Pacific Rim thing where they're both controlling the same body and they're on the same page all the time. And Patrick Mahomes gets out of something and he turns a nothing burger, a broken, blown up play into 25 yards. That I think the most clear way that we're going to be like Patrick Mahomes looks jacked up, looks not completely healed, looks like not himself is going to be the lack of those things. That's what I think is going to happen when you watch him play. That's the thing to look out for. And I'm sure it'll get better as the season goes on because time heals. Look at me being poetic. I'm sure it'll end up getting better, but I think at the beginning of the season, which is why I think that he should sit out the first 4 weeks and come back after their bye week and their week 5 bye week and play in week 6. Let Justin Fields and Garrett Nussmeier deal with their brutal schedule. Brutal. It's really just the Broncos pass rush, and week 1 is going to be the thing that's really going to gut them. I think that you kind of let Patrick Mahomes don't let him take his time coming back. Don't rush this guy. Don't let him rush himself. Sometimes you got to stop a guy from killing himself. It is Patrick Mahomes though, and everything could be good. Anyway, he's going to need help. If he's not able to avoid things in the pocket, he's going to need answers quick, fast, and in a hurry. One thing that's going to help them is Rashee Rice playing in the slot. He's a slot receiver. He's very good at it. If he's going across the middle, which I imagine that he'll be there at the beginning of the season, he did go to jail for breaking parole and then had knee surgery or something like that. Whatever it is, I think that he's going to be there at the beginning of the season. I think he's going to be a big answer for what Patrick Mahomes is doing aside from Travis Kelce. I would have liked to see them add another tight end as well. I think that in the kind of like the current meta of the NFL, doing the 12 personnel, the 2 tight end packages with 1 running back, I think that kind of personnel is something that would be really good for the Chiefs with a Patrick Mahomes who might not be 100%. I think that's something that would really be able to help them out, especially with, I guess Eric Bieniemy's never really done that, hasn't done that with any consistency, I should say, as with his running games. But I think having a more dynamic run game, I think that's the way I want to phrase it. You guys understand what I mean. I think it would have been good for them to be able to add another tight end, because it's still just going to be Travis Kelce and Noah Gray. They're 2 guys that they're running the back with for what feels like the 15th straight year. But Rashee Rice, like I said, he's going to be good. But Xavier Worthy and Tyquan Thornton, maybe Jalen Royals ends up being something more than he was last year. But Tyquan Thornton is a mid at best deep threat, I would say. Xavier Worthy seems like he's kind of just a gadget player. it doesn't seem like they added enough around Patrick Mahomes to make an injury, a season that he's coming back from an injury, as easy as possible for him. Seems like they're, again, this all kind of stems back to them running it back thing where they're chasing the glory days. The glory days had a healthy Patrick Mahomes, like it seems like they're trying to use this same group of guys to get the same results when the one that touches the ball, the most important position in all of professional sports, the guy who's the best at it currently in the world is not what he was when he was in the glory days. I think you guys, I think I'm running this into the ground too much. You guys understand what I'm saying about the Chiefs. Okay, now going to the Raiders. Their big three things that I think are going to go wrong. One, their wide receiver group is absolute dog shit. It's Trey Tucker, Jalen Naylor, and Jack Besh. Trey Tucker, not good. Jack Besh, not very good. Jalen Naylor, not very good. Jalen Naylor, his whole thing, they got him in free agency. He was their big pass catching addition. He was the number 3 in Minnesota. He was behind Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. So yeah, I mean those are two really good wide receivers. If Jordan Addison can not be a total ding dong and actually play football, those are two really good wide receivers. So yeah, it makes sense that a wide receiver 3 is going to get a lot less targets and production just based on the guys that are on the field with him. But he is coming off of a career year, which, again, I'm never a fan of actually paying guys coming off of career years. I understand that you have to do it because those are the good guys, and if they're in free agency, you gotta. It just means that they're going to cost more. Jalen Naylor, he just ain't that guy. His career year was 29 catches for 444 yards and 4 touchdowns, which was tied for the most receiving touchdowns of anybody on the Vikings last year. It was really bad. Those touchdowns came from Carson Wentz and JJ McCarthy. I don't know. It's bad. And they had opportunity, but they had opportunities to get younger pass catchers in the building, get different pass catchers in the building. In the second round, they picked the safety Traden Stukes over. Was Denzel Boston available at that point? I don't know if he was actually. Let's see if I can go to the rounds. Second round. Yes, Denzel Boston got picked directly after Traden Stukes was the 38th pick. Denzel Boston was the 39th pick by the Browns. It seems like they could have tried to get a wide receiver rather than this bullshit ass group that they got going on right now. Now, obviously, they do still have Brock Bowers, which we've seen passing games that worked in Baltimore for a very long time, where the passing game goes through the tight end. We've seen that work before, and Brock Bowers is absolutely the kind of guy the type of tight end that you would want to build a passing game through. You still got to throw the ball to wide receivers. They still got to catch it, and I just don't think Trey Tucker, Jalen Naylor, and Jack Besh are the kind of guys that are going to do that. I don't know. Maybe it plays into their hands well. This is one thing that I said in that positives pod was the getting Kirk Cousins. You want Kirk Cousins to start the entire season, and the worst thing that could happen is Kirk Cousins is eating shit during games, and everybody on the team sees Fernando Mendoza playing like tearing up the scout team defense, and Clint Kubiak's like, no, we're gonna keep doing Kirk Cousins, and everybody's like, well, why the fuck not? This young cat, the future of the franchise is over here, and it really looks like he's ready. You want Fernando Mendoza to be on the bench the entire season. And maybe having a bad pass catching group, a bad wide receiver group, I should say, plays into it's not Kirk's fault. Look at these assholes can't catch the ball. Maybe that plays in their hands. I doubt that's the way that they built it. That seems like that's a good way to build it if you're an idiot like me. I doubt that's the way they did it. I'm sure they seem semi-comfortable with these guys. I wouldn't. Whatever. I don't know. I think it's dumb. I think it's bad. I think that they're bad. That. Second bad thing, Max Crosby. Uh, Trading Max Crosby to the Ravens for 2 first-round picks would have been a goddamn amazing trade. That would have been an amazing trade. Turns out the Ravens back out, and they say that it's because Max Crosby, they didn't like his medicals, because he's coming off of a surgery, and then the day after that, or 3 days after that, whatever the hell it was, the Ravens signed Trey Hendrickson, who's also coming off of a surgery. So it seems like it was just bullshit and they got cold feet. That's what it seems like. The bad thing, what if the Ravens were right? What if they were right? What if Max Crosby's physical is like his medicals were bad? And it wasn't like a cold feet. Obviously, it was in part cold feet. But what if it was? What if they were right? That's trouble. I don't think they were. I'm gonna go out about get ahead of it now. I don't think the Ravens were right. I think it's all bullshit what they did. But Max Crosby, his whole thing is that he just doesn't get off the field. He plays like 97% of the snaps. He's always on the field. So when you get Max Crosby, you're essentially getting 2 guys because you don't have to rotate an edge rusher or a defensive end. He's great at everything, and he plays with the same energy from the first snap of the season that he does at the last snap at the end of the season. Like that's what he does. That's his entire thing, is that he's just this gruesome fucking lawnmower that is ready to just kill whoever's in front of him. He's lawnmower man. That's his thing. He's had a lot of snaps, man. Dude's played a lot of football. What if the Ravens were right? You know, that could be bad. That could be a bad thing. You know, because the best thing that could happen, I mean, as soon as the Ravens backed out of that trade, Max Crosby's value plummeted, shot down to past the core of the earth, down through Earth, hollow Earth theory, went through the core of that Earth, went to hell, gave double birds to Dante and his Inferno, and just went to hell. Went to super hell is where he went. So since then, his value can only go up, and his value is going to be the highest as soon as he plays his first snap of the season, and every team sees that, oh, this guy's legs aren't crippled. This guy can still play football. His value, his trade value, is going to skyrocket. And the best thing that could happen for the Raiders is that they trade him at some point during the season and get at least a first for him. But if he's actually fucked up, that's gonna be bad. It sucks for the Raiders that they're even in this situation because of the Ravens, but that's kind of the reality of it. It's a fake reality. It's a reality in my brain rather than an actual reality, because he's definitely fine. And the Ravens are cowards. That's my take there. Also, one of the things that they did this offseason was they signed Kwity Paye to a $17 million contract. Kwity Paye is like not. He's a Sam linebacker, but he's a pass rusher. He's an edge. He's not like good, you know. I'm not looking at Kwity Paye and being like, that guy deserves to get paid big boy money. Let's see where that falls in line with all the contracts for linebackers or edges. Is he going to be listed as an edge? Let's see, Control F, Pay. Kwity Paye is, he's right around Dio Odeyingbo and Harold Landry. He's above Eric Armstead, Bradley Chubb, Derek Hall, Danielle Hunter, Draymond Jones. He's getting paid. He has a bigger contract than all of those guys. 16, 17 million a year, more than Jonathan Cooper. Welcome back to the conversation. It seems that's a steep price tag for a guy who's not very good, not really good at defeating blocks. He plays violently, which I like. It's just I think that was a bad signing. You know, they did some good stuff rebuilding that defense, but but getting Kwity Paye, I think was he Colts? I believe he came from the Colts. Has he been anywhere else? No, he was with Indianapolis for the last 5 years. He got 8.5 sacks in 2023, 8 sacks in 24. Then he dropped down to 4 last year. It's just not. It wasn't the most inspiring signing, and I think that it's going to end up being stinky for him. I'm looking right now to see what kind of quarterback hits and everything like that he has. Not exactly lighting it up in the backfield either. 6 tackles for a loss last season, 9 QB hits. Career high was that 2024 season, 10 tackles for a loss, 12 QB hits. I like looking at those more so than pressures, because pressures is just like if you go on to like NFL Pro, you're watching film and something that'll get you like it'll log as a pressure. It's just a guy kind of being in the backfield that counts as a pressure. Not all pressures, not all sacks are created equal, but QB hits and tackles for a loss and run stops and what all these different kind of metrics and stuff, that all it takes all that into account. I like looking at QB hits and sacks as when I'm talking about a guy being effective as a pass rusher. Those are my 2 big things. But he's not. 17 million for him is kind of. It seems. Is he the highest? No, he's definitely not the highest paid one. He's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's the 7th highest paid one this offseason. I don't know. I think it's dumb. I think it's dumb. I think that was dumb by them. I think that was dumb, and I think I'm right. So yeah, that's what we got for everybody. And everybody's dog shit that they're going to do this year. All the bad things for the Broncos is J.K. Dobbins having a new first-time play calling OC on a team that has a traditionally. I don't like Sean Payton, man. I don't like that he's going to end up looking good in all of this. He's so full of himself, and he's such a dickhead, man. Sean Payton's a dickhead. It's a bummer that the Broncos are going to be good with him. And that's frustrating. Also, their linebacker room, but that's just kind of a me thing because I can't get Alex Singleton out of my brain. Old Alex Singleton out of my brain. For the Chargers, it was their offensive line doing Cole Strange and Jake Slaughter. I think that's going to be absolute just dynamite, not in a good way. Dynamite as in everything's blowing up and people's body parts are going everywhere, and that person's body parts are Justin Herbert's. Akeem Messidor is 25 years old. Not a problem now, but a problem for the future. I think that they could have done more as far as trying to get another pass catcher for him. For the Chiefs, it just vibes are off. The vibes are off, and it definitely means that they're going to bounce back and just like kick shit in again, but the vibes are off. Just as this seems, you know what this does? This seems like Michael Myers ain't dead. It seems like the end of a Halloween movie. It seems like, yeah, we cut Michael Myers into 1,000 little pieces, but he's going to come back. It seems like we lit him on fire, but we should have cut him into 1,000 little pieces. But he's going to end up coming back, and their defensive backfield, I'm not a fan of it, and I don't think that they didn't. I think they could have done more to help out a hurt Patrick Mahomes. Again, there's wide receivers that are out there still. For the Raiders, their wide receiver group is just downright terrible. Max Crosby, it stinks for them, but, you know, what if the Ravens are right and then Kwity Paye was a bad contract? So yeah, that's everything. That's the AFC West. I'll be back with you guys later this week. What do we want to talk? Let's talk about NFC South. What do you say? Let's talk about NFC South, and then we'll do AFC South after that. So NFC South is going to be later this week. The positives of the Panthers and the Falcons, the Cardinals, the Saints. What did I say? Panthers, Falcons, Buccaneers, and Saints. Sorry. Talk about everything that they've done well, and we'll talk then. Thank you guys very much for listening or watching, whatever you're doing. You can find it on YouTube and Spotify. On YouTube, it's Solid Pod. On Spotify, it's either Solid or Solid Pod. I don't know what it is. I don't really know anything anymore. If you like my coverage of football, go to Fansided and NFL and look for my name and read my stuff. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.